I really don't want to do this, but I feel like I have to, because even if only 5 people ever hear this, I think I'm sitting on something valuable and I'm feeling called to share it in a larger way. So here's a little story time about how I squashed my anxiety in less than 2 years, totally by accident. So to give you an idea of my baseline, I had my first panic attack at 4 years old, thousands more over the next 3 decades. I was basically always on narcotic meds, Ativan, Valium, Xanax, you name it, on top of therapy. I also had lots of therapy. But I was still super anxious. And in my 20s, it actually got worse to the point where I was throwing up every single day, and multiple doctors poking around never found a medical cause because it was stress. And it sounds silly to say now, but at the time I actually didn't think anything of it. I was in law school. Lawyers are nervous Nellies. It made sense for me to carry Pepto-Bismol in my purse. I don't know. So I've basically never known peace. And the idea that I would ever not be a walking panic attack was basically unfathomable to me. So all this to say, I never set out to tackle my anxiety on purpose. This happened by accident, and I'm just hopeful that I can distill the experience because it has changed my life in ways that I still can't fully explain. So let me set the scene. It's my 33rd birthday. I spent the day like I spent most days around that time, getting yelled at and disrespected by my boss. And after 8 or so hours of that, I came home to a husband who spent most evenings disrespecting and yelling at me also. Although it's possible he was nice to me that day because it was my birthday, but who knows? I actually can't remember. And it's not something we can take for granted, unfortunately. So that night we may have gone out to dinner, but most nights I would spend hiding in my bedroom in the dark, watching murder trials on YouTube and doom scrolling. Not exactly an enriching environment, but I didn't really care. Maybe it was depression, but I just felt like, yeah, I'm miserable, but so what? Not necessarily in a like I'm not worth more kind of way, but more like, yeah, this really sucks, but I can survive it, so it's not that bad. Not sure if that makes any sense, but I am pretty sure that's depression. So anyway, then the day after my birthday, I got fired, and it absolutely rocked me because I didn't see it coming, but also because I had never been fired as an adult before that, and I actually didn't think I deserved it. But it's funny how grateful I am to that bitch now because she sort of unlocked this whole new life for me when I wasn't willing or maybe able to do it for myself. A month later, I had a new job. 3 weeks later, a new car. Then a new phone. A month after that, I asked for a divorce, and another month later, he finally moved out. And by the end of the year, the divorce was final, and I have never watched a YouTube murder trial ever since. And the day he moved out, there was this immediate sense of relief. Not only did the vomiting stop that day, but even my dog's constipation went away. But of course, that just brought me back to baseline anxiety, which was regular panic attacks. So somewhere in there, I did start dating again. I was very casually seeing this guy. I had way stronger feelings for him than he had for me. If you know, you know. Anyway, out of nowhere, he tells me over text he was leaving the state that day. And I literally never saw him again. And I was totally crushed. Maybe because I also didn't see that coming, but probably more because I wanted to be the one with the power in that relationship. But either way, I was shattered. Fast forward, I'm all distraught in my bed in the dark, rethinking my whole existence because of some mediocre dude, classic me. I'm scrolling on LinkedIn, as one does, and I see a post from this girl that I knew from law school. And not someone I ever knew well, but I always respected her, especially when she started her own firm right out of school. And I remember thinking how much guts that took while I was still drowning in imposter syndrome. She had posted something like, "These are the books I read that helped me start my business," something to that effect. And since I had just started my business 3 months before that, I screenshotted her post, I signed up for Audible, and I bought a couple of the books that she mentioned. And I don't think I read every book that she listed, but the ones I did read, led me to other books and other authors in the same sort of vein. So I basically spent the whole year reading. And each book gave me some nugget of value, a strategy, a metaphor, a way of framing things that I hadn't considered before. So I just want to be really clear. I didn't invent most of what I'm planning to share. Some of the metaphors are mine, but most of the tricks and the mindset shifts came from much smarter people than me. And I just want to be crystal about that up front. I do plan to make a separate video going through all the books and what I got from them as much as I can remember. But for now, suffice it to say, I stole all of this. But in any case, combined over time, these tricks and shifts have freed me of panic attacks and narcotic meds for the first time in my entire life. And so when my mom, who's a psychologist, told me that she had started using some of these little tricks herself, I felt emboldened to share them more widely. And I don't know exactly what did or didn't contribute to this miracle of banishing my anxiety, but all I can do is lay out all the changes that I made in that time and just try to piece together what worked for me. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm so freaked out by this whole like being seen thing because I'm not an internet person, or as the kids say, you know, chronically online. So to some degree, this is healing for me as much as I want to share my experience with others. So I told myself I would commit to 3 videos because I really don't want to do this. But when I sat down to plan them out, this whole sort of hero's journey just unfolded before me. So if that sounds like a ride that you're ready for, I would say it's time to strap in because I have a lot to say. Thank you for listening to me ramble. I am actually starting to feel excited about sharing this. I just remember how hopeless I felt in the dumpster fire of my own anxiety. And now that I've escaped the flames, largely unscathed, I feel sort of a duty to share how I got out, if I can figure it out. If it can possibly help someone who is still trapped in their dumpster. So if you're trapped in your own dumpster fire, I really hope you'll stay tuned. Okay, thanks, bye. I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. Oh, gosh. Really don't want to do this. I'm just going to assume this is right because I don't want to check again. I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. Really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. Really don't want to do this. This better be the last time I have to do this because I really don't want to do this. Okay, thanks, bye.